Welcome to a fartastic edition of Real Nerds, Real Gamers Edition with my co-host for the Gamers Edition, Joe. Joe, say hi to the wonderful people in podcast land, I guess.
Hello, wonderful people in podcast land.
I am Ryan. We are being sponsored this week, as every week, by Birdman Barbecue. It's the sauce, baby.
Go pick it up at your local Ace Hardware store.
Good man, good man. You know,
contact me.
Contact Joe on Facebook. Through Birdman Barbecue on Facebook, like the page.
That's right.
And then you can talk all about it. I made a pork roast with the rub. Off the chain, dude.
Isn't that stuff great? I mean, put it on a hamburger, put it on anything.
I put it on hamburgers last week, too.
It's great, isn't
It's like my new favorite spice. Because it's like kind of Cajun and spicy, but not... I don't know how to describe it. It's good. Yeah, that's my description of it. It's good.
It's an all-purpose. I'll put it on pizza. I put it on all sorts of stuff. The rub is really, really great, and that's the newest stuff that they've come out with. So that's really.
So yeah, I should definitely get some.
Absolutely.
Support your local entrepreneurs.
That's right. Yeah.
In Colorado.
That's right.
Anyways, this edition of Real Gamers, we're going to do our 10 most anticipated games for 2012. I'm really excited because I thought 2011 was an awesome year for games. And 2012 has a couple of games that I'm really looking forward to. But before we get to that, Joe, have you been playing anything? I know you have. What have you been playing lately?
Skyrim. First, right out of after Christmas, I started playing Rage, and that's
the ID guys, right?
Yep.
Doom.
And I mean the shooting mechanics in that were really, really good. And it just was a lot quicker of a game than I expected, especially for you have to they recommend you install it. It's 3 discs, and I mean it seemed like it was going to be really, really.
That sounds like an Xbox game.
It was an Xbox
installing
game.
3 discs sounds like Xbox.
It was, yeah. But I mean, beautiful graphics, a really cool environment. I think there was a lot of car mechanics to it too. I mean,
really,
yeah, it was. It felt a lot like a Fallout game, but with driving, and the shooting was great. The unpredictability of the enemies was really cool. They'll jump off walls, hang from the ceiling. They're all over the place. So, I mean, it's a bullet waster for sure.
Nice,
but a lot of fun. Just over way quicker than I expected it to be. I
really
thought that was going to be a part that kept it going a little bit further, but it was over pretty quick. So then after that, I quickly picked up Skyrim, and it's just amazing. I mean, there's not so many things that I can pinpoint that make it so great, but I mean, for instance, when you do slay a dragon or something like that, it's a rewarding. I mean, you feel like you've just conquered something, and the journey on it has just been phenomenal. I have not enjoyed a part where I'm playing that game. So
yeah, fellow real nerd James has it, and he says it does the same thing. But he got it for the PlayStation, so he's really worried that it eventually is going to lag and crash. Where you got it for the Xbox, where there's no problem with it. It's a real bummer. I guess Bethesda, who made it, has a problem developing games for PlayStation.
Yeah, I mean, I saw, because I mean, I played Fallout New Vegas on the PlayStation, and I heard
it had a lot of bad things.
But I mean, in Skyrim that I'm playing right now, I mean, there's been a couple areas of lag, and then you see the weird things where there'll be a tree up in the middle of the air, or just some crazy things. But it's such a big game. I mean, it's just so enormous that it's you kind of expect that as long as it doesn't interfere with the game too much, it's okay. There's been a couple glitches where it'll say that I've completed a quest, but then it'll also be in my to-do list. I got credit for it, but it still wants me to do it again, and I can't.
Yeah, I read they have a huge patch coming for it though for both systems.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's gonna be fine, but it's something that I'm maybe halfway through. I've been playing for frickin' ever. Just hours and hours and hours I've put into this, and I mean the main quest alone, I'm probably less than halfway through. And I'm leveling up like crazy and just really enjoying everything that comes out of it.
Yeah, James told me that you have to make sure you're leveled up because you'll encounter creatures that you can't defeat on certain levels. And
I remember I tried to go
something about vampires.
Yeah, there was I got turned into a vampire at one point, and then I was so glad I had an old save file, which is the best advice I can give you if you play this game is just have lots of save files, but I turned into a vampire, didn't realize it. I mean, I went in and killed this whole cave of vampires, and I guess just coming in contact with them, I became one. And after 4, like people in the towns like kept saying, "You don't look so well. You look ill." And I guess after 4 days of being a vampire, you like the villagers will start chasing you. Like they'll like try to hunt you down. So you can't go into a town, and it was just making it really, really hard to do anything unless you continue to feed. If you continue to feed on people while they're asleep, you'll just keep this thing in remission, and you could stay that way through the entire game as long as you continue to feed on people. But if you get caught, I mean, it's like there's all sorts of different things. So I'm glad I had an old save file where I could get the cure for it. But oddly enough, I just decided to become a werewolf in the game.
Nice.
So yeah, there's
Werewolves are cooler anyways.
Yeah,
maybe not in the Twilight world.
I'm
but
a pretty sexy shirtless one. Too.
You walk around without a shirt and cut off jean shorts. Dude, that's
the only way
hot.
to do it, man. Only way to do it. I'm a never nude. So.
Nice. The game I've been playing, and if I actually got it before the end of the year, it would be in my top 5, is The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. Dude, it's amazing.
Yeah, I heard it's big too.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've played it for. I just did an update. It's funny on. The goddess goes into your sword, so she's kind of like your Navy from Ocarina, and she tells you how long you've been playing it. And I just beat the first temple, and I'm 8 hours into the game.
Wow, man.
And
that's Uncharted. I mean, like
it's pretty fun, and the controls are amazing. You do look like a goofball because it's so sensitive where you slash that where you hold your Wiimote is where your sword is. So if you slash diagonal, it slashes diagonal, and you have to kill certain monsters slashing them a certain way and things like that. You can't.
Are you finding that you're standing up or like sitting on the edge of your chair to play the game?
No, I try not to, but there's times when I lean forward, especially when I'm trying to, because to roll into a tree like you do in every Zelda, you have to like flick both the nunchuck and the Wiimote. So I'm always leaning forward and looking at it. Like all Zelda games, it takes a little bit to get into it. I think sometimes the stories at the beginning of Zelda games are kind of boring.
Yeah.
But once you start getting into it and you really get into what the story's trying to accomplish, the story's really good. Because you start off and Zelda's not a princess in this one. She's actually just your friend, and as Link, you're in this academy, and you live in a town called Skyloft, and it's above the Earth, and the Earth is full of all the demons and stuff. And
I hear that's like the Earth is like the one big dungeon.
Yeah,
really,
pretty much.
But you can fly to like the different areas of it and stuff.
And
like
that's you're training to fly your own bird, and Link has the most rare bird of anybody, of course. And the only part that it gets tiring when you fly the birds because you have to move your hand up and down to flap their wings and then control them at the same time, and it's tiring because not like you're out of breath, but like your wrist starts to hurt because you're constantly flapping it. Like you're even masturbating for like 20 minutes.
You'd think, being 30 years old, you'd be fine with that.
You'd think I would be, but that tennis wrist really starts acting up. So yeah, I haven't finished it, but it's an amazing game. And if the Wii could have had more games like that, I think it would have lasted longer than the Wii U, which comes out this year.
Well, I think that's one thing that when I started making my list for this, because you brought out like a couple 3DS games, because I still don't have a 3DS, and that's why I was looking for you to help me complete this list. But I wasn't coming up with anything Nintendo related. I don't know what they've got coming out this year at all, other than they say that the Wii U is going to come out, but I don't even know what's going to come out.
Yeah, they don't. I was reading some software analyst, and he says they don't even know if this is going to be able to come out. Game developers have gotten kits for it, but they don't know when it's coming out, what the price point's going to be. And there's confusion because it looks almost identical to a Wii. The only big difference is a different controller. I mean, it even uses Wiimotes and stuff, which is cool because I like that it's backwards compatible and you can still mess around. And but we'll see. Hopefully they have like a Mario game on launch, and or something like that, because they need it.
They need to.
Because what happened with the 3DS is why it tanked at the launch, because they didn't have anything cool. No Mario, no Zelda. It wasn't until Mario Land 3D and Ocarina of Time 3D came out that the 3DS sales picked up. So this year's looking like to be a better year for the 3DS. So, and the system's amazing. It really is.
Actually, you let me check it out at your holiday party there. So And I was actually blown away. I didn't
It's kind of
realize
amazing,
how cool
isn't
it
it?
was. Yeah, that Mario game was really really awesome to check out.
It's kind of amazing.
I wonder. Like if they'll do another price drop or something like that. I don't know if I am up for another handheld.
Yeah, it's hard.
Because I want to play that, but also like again the Vita's coming out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know if
I know they're releasing the Mortal Kombat game on Vita, like 100% with extra features. Like it has touch fatalities, where you like swipe the screen and they do fatalities and stuff, and it looks pretty
You're
sweet.
getting a Vita.
Well, that, and I mean, there's a game on there I really, really want. I mean, more so than Mortal Kombat, because I have Mortal Kombat in PlayStation, but when we get to our list of top 10 games we're looking forward to, I'll tell you the game why I'm going to get a Vita. So yeah, anything else you're playing right now?
That's actually it.
Yeah, you've told me almost 80 hours in Skyrim, so kind of hard to play
Isn't that
something
crazy?
else, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it's just amazing. Really, really great game. But
Nice. So we'll get right into our preview spectacular.
that's right.
That was like Oprah. That was pretty impressive.
I know. I'm gonna jump up and down on your couch. Or on my couch.
As I say, it's your couch. You can do whatever you want, buddy.
That's right.
Anyway, so we compiled this list of 10, and we actually kind of had, even before we were going to do research together, but when I showed up and we were talking about the games, we actually kind of had the same games already.
Yeah.
So it was kind of easy to put together. The first one, actually the first two on here, are 3DS games, so, I mean, I hope you get a 3DS. It's worth it. They're fun to mess around with, and you can download Game Boy games and stuff on it for like $2.
That's cool.
To mess around with. So they have kind of like a PlayStation, Xbox arcade store on it that you can mess around. I guess the Wii has it too. But actually, a game I'm looking forward to is an old school game on the NES. Obviously, it's called Kid Icarus Uprising. And I don't know if you ever played an original The Kid Icarus, but it was so much fun.
I do remember the original. It had a kind of a Metroid feel, if I'm not
Exactly.
mistaken, right? Yeah, I mean, really kind of Metroid feel. And what I've seen from, I guess this is a game that I've been really waiting for too.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see this one because as soon as I heard about the 3DS, they talked about this game.
Yep.
I was like, wow, what a cool launch game! You know, especially the flying mechanics that they could do with it, and having that with 3D, it looked like a really really neat idea.
yeah.
And everything that I've seen looks like a cool art style. I mean,
They pushed it back, so it kind of. But I think the game looks really cool. And anybody who might not know who Pit is, if you've played any Smash Brothers lately, you can always pick Pit in the game.
Yeah.
And he's always a fun character to play with the bow and arrow, and he flies.
That's why I expected this game out so much sooner. I thought that was going to be the big hype. You know, here he is, playable in this game. You're going to be able to see him on that 3DS as soon as that launches. But the fact that it I just hope it didn't lose too much steam.
I hope so too. Kind of got lost in the shuffle, anyways.
Yeah.
Which is a bummer. But I still think the game looks good, and it's developed by Nintendo, and Nintendo always makes really cool games.
Is that one in house?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Or maybe it's Retro Studios is doing it. I don't remember, but I know Nintendo's publishing it. So that should be fun. I'm looking forward to that one.
That one does look fun.
The other one that's actually coming out in a week or so is called Resident Evil Revelations, and it's kind of an old school. I was reading reviews of it. And I've seen an 8.5 out of 10 and a 9 out of 10.
Really?
And they said it's basically it's the best looking game they've ever seen on handheld, and that it's old school survival horror Resident Evil. It's not the action ones.
So you're gonna like have to save that ammo up.
Yeah,
and
they said
figure
you
out
have to
maybe...
save ammo, and I think I read that it's the tank controls too.
Oh, really?
And there was a big uproar because it was going to be $50, and people were, we don't want to pay $50 for a handheld game. But upon further investigation, reading when I was doing research for our podcast today, I found out that it's a 4 gig card, and most cards for the 3DS are 2 gigs, so it's twice the size of a normal game. And when I was reading the reviews, it takes 15 hours to beat it.
Really?
So it's a pretty big game for a handheld.
That's really big.
And I was reading an interview with the director of it, and he said the hardest thing to do with a handheld is most people, when you play a handheld, you pick it up, play it for 30 minutes, and set it down. He said in this game he didn't want people to do that. He wanted them to pick it up and play it for like an hour, and then keep their interest. So that's kind of cool. And so I'm looking forward to that one. And you can be Jill in it, and Jill's always a fun hero.
She looks
from
cool in it too.
The Resident Evil thing. And I guess there's no zombies, but there's a new monster called the Ooze, which they come out of the pores of. You're on a cruise ship, so they come out of the pores. And I don't know if you ever played Resident Evil Gaiden on Game Boy Color, but it took place on a cruise ship when you were Barry from the first one.
Did you ever see Speed 2?
I did see Speed 2. Cruise control, baby.
It's always better when it's on a boat.
So I'm looking for that because I'm a huge Resident Evil fan, and I'm excited with them to go back to their the kind of their roots because I love Resident Evil 5. It's a great game, but I miss the survival horror part of games.
If I pick up a 3DS, I don't know. I think that like I just have to. I gotta find me a really cool wife like yours that will pick me up one of those. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. A wife who would pick up a 3DS is amazing.
Yeah. Well,
I got mine on Black Friday, and I ended up only paying $40 for it. Because they gave me $100 for my old DS, plus $70 for my old iPhone, and so I traded in. They're like, "Okay, well you owe us $40, so that's the cost of Super Mario Land 3D."
And so I don't get my butt kicked. I'm getting the stink eye from my wife. I'm just playing that. I love you.
We love you, Kelsey. This podcast is being recorded before a live studio audience.
That's right.
That could care less. Just kidding, Kelsey. Hey, why don't you do the 8th one because we're both excited about this. Oh, I don't know the list.
You got the real list here. I'm just reading off nothing. Let me see. South Park the game. Yeah.
South Park the game because we both kind of got excited. We both mentioned this. We have a subscription to Game Informer, and that came in the mail, and I'm like, South Park is on it. That's crazy. I'm like, what is that for? And then you found out it was an RPG. And it looks exactly like the show.
And it plays like Paper Mario.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's an RPG in a turn-based style, but plays like Paper Mario, so where you've got to have the action buttons that do things.
And that's my favorite kind of RPGs. I always get a hard time with the Final Fantasies where you hit a button, you watch a spell for like 20 seconds.
Right.
So I'm always a big fan of... I like RPGs when they're that way. And when I can relate to the characters, i.e. Mario. And the South Park one, it sounds really interesting.
And the guys are actually writing it, and it looks like an episode of South Park. You play a new kid in town.
Yep. And you get to design your kid. And
and you're trying to get acceptance from them and hopefully gain your spot at the bus stop, which I think looks great.
Yeah, that was cool. And what I think's kind of cool when I read the interview with the guys is they said they never had to think about how to get from the bus stop to the school before, how to get from the bus stop to their homes, and because they came to them and the people who are developing the game said, "Hey, how do you get from here to here?" And they said, "But we don't know."
I remember that and I don't know if you ever played the Simpsons game that they made for the newer generations. It was just called The Simpsons the game, and it had kind of an open sandbox style, kind of Grand Theft Auto style in that way. But you'd go to certain areas and then it would play out like a mission. And they had to lay out the town of Springfield that way. And it was kind of neat, they of course, it seemed like it was all just kind of crammed really close together and stuff like that. So you'd have the Bolorama right next to the church and stuff like that. But, just so that you can hit places really, really quick and not have to go big distances within Springfield. But it was, that was pretty neat. So, again, South Park looks really, really fun. And I think that, these guys this is going to be one that they're going to do right.
And they've made a promise on that because... It's funny, I was reading, the interview, and the developers came with a cool-looking dragon, and Trey Parker said that doesn't look crappy enough to be on South Park. And so they had to go back and rethink. It's kind of cool for them to do that.
Well, you think about the dragons that they've had on South Park and how even their mouths still have kind of like a stick and paper effect to them. It's they might look really cool, but they're still just.
And I think that's important because when you play the N64 ones, they always look goofy when they're in that 3D kind of.
Yeah.
And South Park has a certain look and feel to it that I think is really important, and it's awesome that they did that.
Well, I think that and it's that right time, it's one more thing that's gonna revitalize that show. I mean, I don't think it's lost steam. In fact, I think it gets funnier and funnier. But I mean, I think these guys are at the height of knowing what to do to make things funny. And I'm letting you borrow Portal 2. Like I was telling you on the last podcast, timing in video games has got to be really, really tough thing to do. And this one gets it right, and I think that these guys, Trey Parker and Aston, will totally get it right in this game. So
I think so too.
That's exciting.
So it's really exciting being fans of the show, and then seeing how the games coming together is really sweet. Number 7 is a game series that's really popular. I'm not very good at it, but I always have fun playing it. And that's Grand Theft Auto 5.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this one, yeah.
And, I mean, it looks kind of like the same Grand Theft Auto, but, I mean, that's not a bad thing at all.
Well, I think that, all I've seen is that one trailer. You don't see, you see some interesting things, rich people, you see the poor people, in the contrast between them, which I think is really big about this, economic times that we're living in. And... I wonder how far they're going to take that. Are you going to be taking down corporations, or
Mhm.
you know, like what are you going to do in this game? And I was saying that before the podcast that you know, like outside of the one that they first released, the Grand Theft Auto like Liberty City stories that they did on the PlayStation Portable, I beat that one, and that was the first Grand Theft Auto that I ever beat. And then they did the one that was on the PS3, Grand Theft Auto 4. Loved it. Loved it. Couldn't get enough of that game. Couldn't get enough of all the side missions, everything in it. Beat that one, and it was just remarkable. I thought it was well written. So it just really got me excited about this one too. And I felt like they took away some of the goofiness, you know, that you saw in all the ones that were in PlayStation 2.
Yeah.
I didn't enter any codes to get like infinite ammo and go blowing up cop cars and get in the tank and stuff like that. I never did any of that stuff in this one, and I felt like it was a much more rewarding and fun game. A lot of people that turned them off, but I'm like, you got Saints Row for if you want to do stupid things like that. But I thought that game was really well put together. There's a bank robbery part in it where it felt like you were actually playing the movie Heat. You know, it's really, really cool game. So
yeah, it's kind of a cool one to look forward to. It's kind of been mum. I mean, they had that one trailer, so you really don't know too much about it.
That's Rockstar for you, though.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But
They've
I mean,
always been like that.
after they've done Red Dead Redemption and L.A. Noire, I mean, two really great games. I think that they've got, you know, like if you can imply a lot of those different elements into this one game, it's going to be fantastic. Yeah. And then they've got Max Payne coming out too. This isn't on the list or anything like that, but that one's coming out real soon. Yeah. And so and I mean.
I don't know, I'd never gotten into those games, but you know, if the game's good, I'll always, you know, the one thing I do like about having internet connection now with video games, you can download demos for free and see if you like them.
Sure, yeah.
So that'll probably be one I'd check out because it's fun.
Yeah, most definitely.
And the next one is actually why I want to buy a PlayStation Vita, and it's Uncharted Golden Abyss.
Oh yeah.
Because I love Uncharted, and being able to play one on the go, I think would be amazing.
That would be the system seller for me.
Oh, it has to be. I mean, what else is even coming out? I don't even know what else is coming out for the Vita.
I mean, I think
besides Mortal Kombat.
I think I looked at a couple of, like the other launch games that really kind of, you know, show off like what the system can do. But that's the one game that I think, you know, to see an Uncharted.
Oh yeah.
On the go like that on that.
And I did read reviews because Vita's already come out in Japan. They said it's amazing. They said it's the most amazing handheld system you'll ever play.
Really, that's amazing.
Well, I mean, you look at it, it looks almost close to PS3 graphics. The Uncharted game.
And yeah, I think that the touch controls, all the different things on that look like it's just going to be an exciting adventure to play.
Yeah.
I heard that the memory sticks for the Vita are stupid. Yeah, they're proprietary and they're super expensive. And so like all those things just keep racking it. So if you want to get that Vita, you want to get who's going to get the one that's got the 3G? Just get the Wi-Fi one. You get the game. You get a memory card. And I mean, you're looking at $350. Easily out the door on that purchase, and that's
tough.
I don't know if I can be an early adopter.
Yeah, it's hard. And I correct me if I'm wrong. Aren't all the games downloadable? You can't. There's no physical copies of the games.
That I don't know.
I think it's only downloadable.
That's weird.
Maybe I don't know. Don't quote me on that.
No. Because I do actually. I remember on Kotaku, I saw they actually had Japanese. I think like a copy of the Uncharted thing. And I believe that they're smaller than like DS games or something like that. Like they're ridiculously like little.
They're cards or are they discs?
Yeah, like little cards.
Interesting. Yeah. Oh, so yeah, I can't wait for that one. So it's kind of a Uncharted / PlayStation Vita. I think it comes out really soon, doesn't it? In February?
Is that when it is?
I think so.
Yeah, again, I'm not gonna be able to be an.
I don't know if I'm. Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna be a launch guy, but I'll probably be like the 3DS, where I'll get it like 6-7 months after it comes out, and
then I'll have to check it out.
Anytime, buddy. The next one is actually a surprising one for me. And the first glimpse I saw of this was actually on Game Informer again, but then I saw the trailer for the new Tomb Raider game, and it looks pretty freaking badass.
Yeah, they totally redid Lara Croft. She's they didn't sexify her up. In fact, they're beating her up a little bit in this one. She's very bloody. It looks like she's on this not just adventure, but like a survival. Is it a prequel? Is that what I'm hearing? It's a
prequel. She's supposed to be, I guess, 19 in it.
Oh, okay. So this is like her first adventure.
Yeah, so this is where she kind of gets bitten by the Tomb Raider bug. Which should be fun because I think Tomb Raider 1 and 2 are actually pretty good games for their time.
Those were tank controlled, weren't they?
Yeah, but now they kind of went away throughout the PlayStation 1's life cycle into PlayStation 2. The downloadable games are pretty fun. I only played the demos of them, but they're pretty fun.
I played a little bit of that top-down version, that newer one, and that was a lot of fun. Every other Tomb Raider game that I've ever played, though, I've never been excited about this one. I think that after Uncharted's come out, I think like this is what those games should have always been, and that's
Eidos now has to answer to Square Enix. So I mean, answer to someone who puts so much quality control into their games that I think's actually helped them make better games.
Well, the look of it is amazing. I haven't seen anything that's technically in game. Everything's just that trailer. But I think that's really what we're talking about here is what's got us excited, and that trailer is an exciting trailer. I mean, when the ship splits in half and she's falling, I mean, of course she lives, but gosh, I mean, you're thinking, how do you survive that?
But you really want to play the game. I think that's the most important thing, and I think that's what adds to the anticipation list. Is you want to play the game just based on what you've seen of it, and I think it looks pretty amazing.
Yep.
And it looks fun, and I think that's, to me, the most important thing in a game is how fun is it. Graphics are nice, but to me, gameplay and how much fun it is more important than how pretty it looks. Because now, I mean, everybody can make pretty graphics.
But there's no excuse for a bad-looking game at this point.
Oh yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. Everybody can make a pretty game now. So it's the mechanics and making the gameplay more accessible and fun, I think, is the most important thing.
Well, I just think that I want a really story-driven game with that too. I want to really get to know who this character is and feel something for what she's going through. Because I mean, I guess the character of Lara Croft in general isn't that appealing. I mean, she's rich and she's she's got a butler, all these different things, and she just goes on these adventures to find stuff, and she's kind of a superhero doing it. This vulnerable. Getting her teeth cut on this first adventure is I think a great way to get you actually into her character.
Absolutely, and what helped the Tomb Raider franchise is Uncharted, because Uncharted is basically Tomb Raider with a really cool lead character as a guy, and way better stories and better action. But besides that, it's
better in every single way.
But you know what I mean? Better in every single way, making the people
and
work
that's
harder.
What they've got to respond to now is hey. We've got to play up to what Uncharted's done, and this can't be a like a Medal of Honor versus a Call of Duty kind of thing. This has to just really come up and live to it. But it's got me excited. So
me too. The next one is speaking of Uncharted is Naughty Dog's first original IP in a while
since
Uncharted, and it's called The Last of Us.
And we talked about it a little bit, and still all we've seen is that one trailer for
one trailer. But you can the trailer has some gameplay in it. Basically, it looks like kind of Uncharted, the gameplay style. But I mean, the story is awesome. It's kind of a zombie apocalypse where there's maybe the last two survivors. Obviously, the title implies that those are the last two survivors in the world. This younger woman and the older guy, and they're dealing with some sort of plague that either turns people into zombies or maybe.
I don't know if they are the last two though, because in that trailer, she comes in ready to fight off that one guy that's on her dad's back. So I mean, or I assume that's her dad, but. So I mean, I think that this is going to be like a human story with a danger element, kind of like the way The Walking Dead is a human story with an overlooming danger element. I think that creating an atmosphere like that is like a Gotham City kind of thing to do, and that's where it could be really fun.
Yeah, it was cool when they stepped out too, and it was like that. You're basically in New York City, and it's all overgrown, and
it looked like I Am Legend kind of.
And with zombies, and I mean, I don't know if they're zombies or not. They might be just infected people, or
it looked like they had like bubbles. Like skin boils all over their heads and stuff like that.
So I don't know if they'll be zombies in the traditional sense, but it has a feel of zombies.
And scary anticipation, but it didn't look like they had eyes. It looked like they were trying to use something else, like maybe it was sound or something to find you. So
so basically, I Am Legend
looks. I mean, it looked great though.
Yeah, it looks really cool, and it's cool that they're taking chances on games and.
I don't think these guys can fail. I think
they know
what they're doing.
They do a really good job. I mean, you can go through their whole history. I mean, it's Jack and Dax. Well, actually, it's Crash Bandicoot, the first three. Then they sold that to Universal, and then they did Jack and Daxter, the first three, then sold that, and then they did the Uncharted ones. So their Jack and Daxter games are awesome. Uncharted's awesome. The original Crashes, I think, are a lot of fun. So I don't think they can really mess up.
Yeah,
they have too much talent too.
I concur.
The next one is one you're really excited for. I haven't even played a Mass Effect, but Mass Effect 3 comes out.
And, that's 2 months away, as a matter of fact. Man, am I excited.
What an unusual time to release that game.
Yeah, I would have expected a little bit, more holiday season, but I mean, they're going to own it. I mean, it's
Oh yeah, that might be. I think that's why too. Some companies are kind of not putting so many games out in the holiday time because I think they realize that gaming is kind of a year-round thing, and if they have the only big game for a month, then people are going to constantly buy that game.
I mean, that's going to be the one. I mean, but I plan on
I don't think Mass Effect has to worry about that because that game's so popular anyways.
not at all. But this one they've got like co-op modes to it, which could directly affect your single player campaign. It looks so big and just incredible. Everything that's just been building up to this big war. That Ryan, you got to go out and pick up the Mass Effect 2 for your PS3.
I might go do it tonight. I have nothing else to do. Laura's at work. I might go pick it up and play it.
You really should just get lost in that game for a while because it's so amazing. I borrowed it from Johnny Blaze and on the Xbox and played for about 20 hours into it, and before I had to go give it back to him. Like, I got to go buy this now. It's I wanted to go buy it new because I wanted the Cerberus network, all the different things. But I think on the PS3 too, I think that there's only like one extra downloadable level that you might have to download that's between this game and Mass Effect 3. But man, just really excited about all that is in this game. So I'd highly recommend playing Mass Effect 2, man. You won't regret it.
I will. Yeah, it's one of those ones I've always meant to play. So is it an action RPG basically?
Yeah, I mean it's kind of a third-person shooter in a lot of ways, but it's got a lot of different RPG elements, so you can craft your character to be a certain way, which RPGs normally kind of like put me back just a little bit.
Me
not.
too.
I like American RPGs. I'm playing Skyrim, which is a deep RPG. So, is probably one of the deepest ones that I've played in a long time, and I'm enjoying it. But Mass Effect, you just want to figure out where you want to where do you want to like build your powers. I went a little bit safer and just played as like a human soldier, so I could just play the shooter elements because that's familiar to me.
Sure.
And let all the other characters that I come in contact with build up their magics and different whatchamacallits, so that they can be more powerful biotics or whatever. I can control shooting because that's what I'm more familiar with in all my other games. So, but Andy Zimmerman, for instance, he doesn't like the real action, like get into it gameplay like that, so he would hang back and snipe, and he built up a character that was better at being a little bit more sneaky and stuff like that. Really, really in-depth gameplay, really rewarding, and if you pick it up, man, let me know, because there's some tips that to get the best endings and stuff like that, so I'll help you out.
Cool, for sure. The next one too is BioShock. Now I haven't played a BioShock, but for some reason the new one really interests me. I think it has a lot to do with the story that they've released so far and kind of the way the game looks and the art style is amazing.
Yeah.
And kind of little story elements and watching the gameplay unfold, and it looks really interesting.
Well, this is another game that you could probably run out and get for your PS3 for about $9 right now. Go pick up BioShock 1. BioShock 2 was good, but it's not done by the exact same team. That's
right.
So you'll want to. I mean, BioShock 1. That was a fantastic game, just really, really fun, and it's another one of those where the environment is as much of a character as the characters in the game. I mean, Rapture was amazing, and then this place, Columbia, the city in the sky. Like they're floating over to show America's prowess over the rest of the world and stuff like that, and it's these sky hooks that can take you from all these different areas, and this sense of danger that there's you're in the sky.
Yeah, it's an amazing style. I don't know how to better describe it, but just watching it in action and seeing the hard work that the artists put into it. I read an article, and they'd have a poster from the 1940s, a real one, and then the BioShock guys kind of twisted it to be in their world,
like the Saturday Evening Post one.
That's what I mean.
Those were really, really cool posters too. I heard that if you get like the limited edition one, you'll get like a couple of those posters too in the box set, which is really neat because that is the kind of look it's going for. But I'm really intrigued too because in that 15 minutes of footage that actual gameplay footage they showed, there's that part where she's controlling that world around her, and it goes into like 1950s.
Yeah.
Like there's cars and she has no idea what's going on. Like she goes into like it's a different time zone or time era for a moment there, and he's like, "What did you do? Where are we at?" And I think like it says Return of the Empire or something like that on like a movie
Really?
thing. Like yeah, like as a throw to George Lucas there, but like it was really kind of a neat feeling. So it's those elements that just keep me so intrigued, so excited about that game. Yeah.
Nice. So we're all the way up to number 1.
That was quick.
Yeah, it was quick. My most anticipated game of next year is Resident Evil 6.
This just we just started seeing trailers for this.
And
Yeah.
there's another Resident Evil. There's 3 Resident Evil games coming out this year. There's Resident Evil Revelations, what comes out next week or the following week, I forget exactly. And then in March they have Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City,
We talked about that.
where it's a squad-based shooting
from
game from Umbrella's
side.
point of view.
Yeah.
And I was reading more. It's developed by the guys who made SOCOM for PlayStation. So that's a squad-based game. So we'll see. Some of the SOCOMs aren't that good. So hopefully they've ironed out all their problems. But that's interesting. But the one I'm really looking forward to is Resident Evil 6. And seeing the trailer, Leon Kennedy's in it. Chris Redfield's in it. And they all, after reading a little bit about it, evidently you play as each one of these characters. And they're trying to stop Umbrella from releasing the virus all over the world.
And isn't this like taking I'm not 100% sure about this, but isn't this like after the president, somebody infected the president with the zombie virus? So this is like...
Yeah, they're trying to make... There's Raccoon City happened 10 years ago in this game, and then there's a new city that's being infected in America, and I think Chris is in China.
Yeah, because it looks like there's a different city there too.
Trying to stop it there, and somehow him and Leon's stories merge. And there's a couple new characters in it that you also play their stories. So it's kind of like a Tarantino where you have a bunch of different stories going on. They're going to meet at the end.
That seems cool, though. I mean, as long as it's not just shooter style like Resident Evil 5, I want more of a Resident Evil 4
Yeah, I think so too. But judging by the trailer, it seems to be that way. Again, Resident Evil 5 is not a bad game. It's a good game. But I really miss the Resident Evil part of it, if that makes any sense.
I got about halfway through that one, to be honest with you. Maybe more than halfway through it, and I just like fizzled out on it, and I just had never felt like going back and picking it back up. I think I sold it, and I was just like, I hated the inventory management. I hated having that partner. I mean, it just...
Yeah, she wasn't very good.
It just ruined that game. It felt very Gears of War to me.
Me too.
And I'm not looking forward to that. It looks like this one, though, has a cover system.
Yeah.
Like a real cover system to it.
It looks like they kind of blended Resident Evil 4 with Resident Evil 5 and sprinkled in a Gears of War, where they're trying to up the ante, the action-wise, but also tailor to the fans of the series, which I think they should. I do know that depending on where you reserve the game, you get different things. So it'll be like Mortal Kombat. I got to kind of see... I mean, obviously you'll probably be able to like Mortal Kombat to buy the other stuff, but I want to see which one I want the most. For Mortal Kombat, I wanted the Scorpion one more than anything else, so I reserved it at GameStop. I know that the Resident Evil, it's characters and a map for multiplayer. So if you reserve it at Best Buy, GameStop, or I think Walmart's the other one, it depends.
And the multiplayer things, I don't care about.
Oh, no, me either.
Like I want, like if there's like new skins or new adventures
and Ada
that you
Wong's
can go
in
on into the first player thing, that's what I would like. Yeah, Ada Wong missions. Those
were cool.
Yeah.
Like Resident Evil 4 on PlayStation 2 is amazing.
Yeah, and all the stuff that they did to improve that game, which in a time before they had DLC. Where they had to keep releasing the game, man. They squeezed every penny out of me for sure.
I got it for the GameCube, and then I got it for PS2.
I did that same thing too, and then I picked it up for the Wii when that came out so that I could check it out.
Yeah, I didn't get it for the Wii, but I always was thinking about getting it because it basically has everything on the Wii version. So.
Well, and then now I think you can download the HD version of it.
Yeah, now you can download it. So I think it's $10 on PlayStation Network.
And part of me is like $10. Why not?
Yeah, the game's amazing.
It's such a great game. Yeah,
it really is. So that's got me excited, and I'm really glad that. So it's going to be back-to-back years where my two favorite franchises have games coming out. I mean, besides the Mario's, Mario's my favorite game of all time, and I kind of take it for granted that they'll eventually release another one. But I get really excited when Resident Evil or Mortal Kombat has a new game come out because it seems like they're farther in between, where you can always pick up a Mario in here or a Mario there. And
but there's no Mario on the horizon.
No, it's a bummer.
Like, if there is something, it's very, very hush hush. And I mean, hold on to that 3D one because I think that might.
That one's amazing
for a little bit.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, I agree. I think that 2011 one of the best, if not the best, year for
Oh.
gaming. And then I think that this year is shaping up to
November
be,
15th last year, I bought 3 games.
really.
Yeah. Or I guess in the month of November. Because I bought Batman. No, I got 4. I got Batman, Uncharted, Mario, and then what am I missing?
I did Batman and Uncharted that one because I remember I had to
Yeah.
get rid of L.A. Noire and stuff like that to get those. So
It's exciting. So it's always fun when games come out, and being a nerd, and it's something I hope I never change. I'll always make time to play video games. You know,
I mean, hey, we've been lifelong friends. We talked about this so
for our whole lives, so I don't think anything's changing. And luckily, we
Exactly.
have understanding wives that probably would rather have us playing video games than being hooligans.
Yeah.
Spray painting the town.
Not to say that she doesn't like spray painting the town with me.
Absolutely.
Every once in a while, but you know,
A middle finger on a water tower. You know, it does the city good. It really does.
I think it's a community builder.
Absolutely. So cool. That was our most anticipated games for 2012. When me and Joe meet up again, listeners, we will have more games we have played, more we're looking forward to, maybe some that will surprise us when we see it. You can follow us on Facebook, like our page, Real Nerds. You can also read our amazing blog at realnerds.tumblr.com. You can email me, realnerds@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Twitter now, real_nerds. Please send us your video game questions, movie questions. If you send us a video game question, Joe can answer them too. This has been a Nebulous Visions production. Until then, I will see you online, I guess. Maybe.
That was nice.
That was nice. I kind of tied the whole gaming thing together. Thanks, Joe. My heart just skipped a beat.